guys, it's Andy from NismoTechUK. Today we're giving an unboxing and overview for Thermaltake, and this is their Urban S31 case. Okay, so to start with, we're just going to take a quick look around the actual box itself. First thing you'll notice is that we're greeted by a sort of top view of the actual case itself, featuring all the actual USB ports and the actual docking station on top. Features also USB 3.0. It's part of the VP700 series. Also, it's the Urban S31 that we have. Moving the box around on this side, just a couple of features. And again, on that side, I'll see a duplicate image. And then onto this side, we actually come onto the main specifications. So there's actually two different versions of this case. You have got a windowed version and also a plain panel version. The one that we have is the windowed version. So the dimensions of the case itself: in height is 500mm, 206mm in width, and 520mm in depth. There's quite a lot of cooling options with this particular case. Front intake, we have got room for two 120mm fans, of which one is actually included, which is a turbo fan that runs up to 1000 RPM at 16 dBA. On the rear, there is room for a 120mm fan. Again, that runs at a 1000 RPM, 16 dBA. And at the top, you have got room for two 120mm fans or a single 140mm fan. And on the bottom floor, you've also got room for a 120mm fan as well. In terms of storage and drive bays, you have got three 5¼ inch bays, six 3.5 or 2.5 inch bays, and also a docking station on the case as well. So let's get inside and have a look at the case itself. Okay, so starting with the actual front of the case, you can see that we've actually got this protective film over the top here. To obviously stop the very nice brushed aluminium, dark brushed aluminium front door that we have on here. Got the Thermaltake logo down at the front here. Up at the top, we've got two USB 2.0, headphone microphone, and two USB 3.0. And as you can see, there's sort of a bit of a gap around the inside, and it really does give it a very nice, clean, stealthy look. Opening the door is quite easy. It's actually hinged on at 3 points. And on the inside here, you can see that we've got the three 5¼ inch bays, and also there's room for a floppy drive in there if you did want to use one. And as far as I know, these should come out like so. So very easy to actually remove the actual covers for the 5¼ inch bays. In addition, down here, we've also got this fan filter, which seems to be very well made indeed, although there's not a great deal of sort of airflow that potentially will run through this. It's still going to obviously capture any dust that potentially could be pulled in from the front intakes. And as you can see, we've got one of the fans in behind there, but we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. So in order to remove the front panel, all you need to do is put your hand on the inside, give it a good tug, and out comes the front panel itself. You can actually see it's actually quite thick and quite big, and also you can see the actual fan filter on that side. But pre-installed, also you've got this 120mm fan at the front here. You are able to go and install an additional 120mm fan there as well, and obviously feed the cable through that particular hole there. But the fan that's pre-installed runs at 1000 RPM at 16 dBA. Okay, so onto the top of the actual case, you can see we've got a hard drive LED indicator along with your big power button and also your reset button. And additional to that is your hard drive dock, which I think is one of the best features about the actual case. Obviously you've got room here to pop your SSD down inside or flip it straight down, and you can actually then fit in a mechanical drive like so. Just push this straight down, click it into place, and there you go. You can now access any of the data on the actual hard drive without even removing your side panels, and I think it's a really cool feature. Moving towards the back of the actual case, you can see we've got this large mesh area here. Also you've got room for two 120mm fans or a 140mm fan, but we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. Moving on to the roof of the case, you have got plastic lugs on the inside of the actual panel here that you do need to squeeze in order for you to lift the actual top panel up. Obviously I've already pre-done that, and you can obviously have a look at the roof here with the actual fan filter. As I've already demonstrated, very easy to actually remove, and you've also got quite a lot of ventilation on that top panel itself. As you can see up at the top, we've got quite a bit of room here, so we can actually install two 120mm fans or also two 140s up here as well. You've also got room to install a 240mm radiator up at the top here, so for those of you that are looking at the water cooling side of things, more than likely an all-in-one 240 is obviously going to fit on the inside of this here. Just looking a bit further down, the hard drive dock itself isn't really accessible, which is probably a good thing because you don't really want to go playing around with the circuitry and the PCB that's obviously underneath that to actually control the dock. But like I said, you're not really able to actually access that area. Okay, so onto the back of the actual case itself, you can see that we've got the pre-installed 120mm fan on the back here. Got a couple of holes here for water cooling if you would need that, bit of ventilation, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vented PCI slots along with a bottom mounted PSU. Also on the bottom, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment, we do have a fan filter, and we've also got one up at the top which literally just pulls straight out, and there you go. Very, very good construction with that as well. Really, really good implementation. Very easy to get to and very easy to clean. But quite a nice looking back. Obviously the side panels are held in with thumb screws. I've taken them off on that side. And they've also got handles on the side panels to make the panels easier to actually remove. So onto this side of the case, you see that we have actually got a punched out panel, which is obviously going to enable you to fit more cables in behind and make cable management more easy. Okay, so onto the side of the case, and as you can see we have got a protective film going over the perspex. There is another layer on the inside, but I've already removed that. And as you can see, we've got a very nice sized side window. It's not overly big, but it's also not too small. And you're going to be able to sort of show off any potential components that you have on the inside of this quite nicely without showing the actual hard drive bays, which is really, really cool. So I've already removed the thumb screws, but I'm just going to take this off and have a look. This is still very rigid, very strong. So it's of a very nice quality, and you shouldn't have any problems with that at all. Okay, so now onto the storage options for the actual case itself. We've got toolless installation up at the top here with the option to screw through on the 5¼ inch bays. We've then got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hard drive bays down here in 2 sections of 3. Have a look at the actual caddies themselves. They've got the Thermaltake logo on the front, which is quite cool. To remove them, you just literally push them together like so, and it then obviously removes. This is very, very strong indeed. And as you can see, we've got mountings here for you to go and actually install an SSD into this as well. You've also got anti-vibration rubber on the inside here to also stop any vibration transferring through to the actual case to reduce any vibration noise, and they literally just slide straight back in. Now in terms of graphics card clearance, you've got a total of 290mm with the actual hard drive cage installed. If you remove the thumb screws and remove this particular cage, you then have got a total length of 410mm, which is pretty damn impressive. Unfortunately, this bottom section is not removable, it is riveted in, which is a bit of a shame because potentially you could go and install a 240mm radiator on the front, which is a bit of a shame. Would have been nice to see that being able to be removed. Looking down towards the PSU area, as you can see, we've got a bottom mounted PSU with a fan filter that goes across the entire length of the actual base of the case, and they're raised up by these sort of steel risers here just to elevate it a little bit further above the actual base of the case itself. Onto the fan itself at the back here, as you can see, it's a pre-installed 120mm fan, runs at 1000 RPM and produces 16 dBA of noise at full speed. The fan goes onto a 3-pin black connector, and it's got this sort of sleeving over the top, which isn't my particular favourite or my choice, but the fact that it is black does make it very appealing indeed. As you can see, the vented PCI covers on here, which obviously you'll access via the screws here. Okay, so moving on to the cables from the front I/O, as you see they're all black, which is really good. Black connectors, absolutely fantastic. You have got a USB 3.0 header, a HD audio header, as well as a USB header here. So they're the main ones, along with your power LED and reset switch, power switch, etc. You've also got a black cable here running from the pre-installed fan at the front. And finally, you do also have a black SATA connection cable, data cable, for the hard drive dock that's installed at the top of the case. Looking at the motherboard area, you can see that we've got pre-installed black risers for the actual motherboard itself, which makes it a little bit quicker and easier to go and install your rig. And we've also got quite a nice size CPU window, which we'll go and look at in a moment, as well as 1, 2, 3 rubber grommeted access holes. Now moving on to this side of the case, and the first thing you're probably going to notice is the very large CPU cutout, which makes it a lot easier to go and change your CPU cooler if you do need to actually do that. It's a very, very nice size. Up at the top here, we've also got a nice cable hole for your 8-pin to run over to your motherboard, and we've also got a couple, not as many as I'd probably like to see, but we've got a couple of zip tie down points as well. As you see, it comes very nicely, the cable managed to start with out of the box, and we've also obviously got the rubber grommets that are sort of pretty good material actually. We've got one of them there, one there, and also one behind there. We've also got this cable that runs out here, that comes from the hard drive dock at the top, so it's Molex powered to drive the hard drive dock, and that cable there is from the actual front fan itself. In terms of space on the back here, not a great deal. I can't actually fit my finger down between the motherboard tray and the side of the actual case itself. However, obviously we have got a punched out panel, which is going to make life a little bit easier, and we've also got some room here in order for you to obviously feed your SATA and power cables to your hard drives. Looking at the bottom of the case, you can see that we have obviously got these rubber tipped feet, very large pads to stop vibration, obviously to stop it from scratching the surface, and it does sort of protrude probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches off the actual desk itself. So obviously you've got a lot of room here for airflow to obviously get into the actual case. And again, that does actually apply to the front here. You've got quite a large area, you can almost fit my hand all the way on the inside there to obviously aid with airflow. We've also got this very large fan filter down at the bottom here, which is quite easy to actually remove. Very good material, good construction, very easy to remove and also clean under the tap. Okay, so now on to the accessories that come with the case. One of them is this particular device here, and what that will allow you to do is go and install a hard drive into a 5¼ inch bay. So it's quite nice that they actually include that. In addition to that, you've got a bag here full of reusable zip cords, some screws, a speaker, and also some anti-vibration pads as well. You also get a product warranty leaflet as well for you to go and read over, as well as your user guide, which obviously tells you all the different specifications, where you actually go and install things, how you install them, etc. Okay, so moving on to my personal thoughts about the Urban S31. Okay, so starting off with the build quality for the case itself. The brushed aluminium front door is really nice, very attractive, it's got a nice grain to it. I was a little bit skeptical about the docking station. Obviously I'm very impressed with the fact that they've got one on top of the case, but I was a little bit concerned with the top cover, whether or not it'd be strong enough for the type of person that would just literally go ahead and plonk a hard drive into that area. But from what I can actually see, it's actually made from really good quality plastic. And the quality doesn't just stop there, it's throughout the entirety of the actual case. The hard drive caddies, everything is just using best quality material and is very well built indeed. So now onto the design. Obviously I've already touched on the front door. The brushed aluminium looks absolutely fantastic. One thing that I forgot to show in the video, above the USB ports there is a blue power LED strip, which hopefully you'll be able to see in the actual picture I'm actually showing to you guys now. So apologies that I didn't show that in operation. Again, obviously I've already touched on the hard drive docking station. For me, that's one of the key features for the actual case itself. Absolutely love the fact that it's got a built-in docking station. For me personally, that would be a massive benefit, and it's a real great feature and add-on to have in a case of this size. Moving on to the inside, obviously the drive cages and the drive caddies are real good quality, real good design. I like the fact that you can remove the middle section to install a longer graphics card, but as I said a little earlier in the video, it would have been nice to remove that bottom drive cage just so that you could go ahead and install potentially a 240 rad in the front. Apart from that, you have got a number of different options with regards to air cooling. You've got a couple of fans at the front, two up at the top, one at the rear and one down at the base, which is good to see. And obviously you have got water cooling support in the roof as well. Another key point is the dust filters that are dotted around the actual case itself. All of them are very easy to remove, very easy to clean, and of a very good build quality and using good material. So big thumbs up to Thermaltake for that. So for me, this is one of the best metallic cases available on the market. And I'll say that based on the fact that the overall design is very good, build quality is superb, you've got a nice sized side window, you've got excellent support for air cooling, you've got excellent support for water cooling, and you've also got that hard drive dock. But we'll be interested to find out what you guys think about the Urban S31, so please do leave a comment down below and also let us know what you think about the actual case. So we hope you liked the unboxing and overview for the Thermaltake Urban S31, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. We hoped you liked our video review. If you did, then please leave a like as well as any comments or questions you may have down below. Full details and specifications on this item can be found at our website, NismoTech.com, along with all the links for purchasing if you wish. Also on our site you'll find our latest reviews and current giveaways, plus a lot more. We look forward to seeing you in our next review.